Medupi's Unit 6 came into operation last August, and its 800 megawatt contribution to the grid helped bring an end to load shedding. Medupi is set to be completed by 2019 and Kusile, it's the other power station, a year later. The power station's Unit 5 is scheduled to go online towards the end of the year. The project has been marred by strike action and delays over the last few years. Well, Eskom spokesperson Kulu Pasiwe joins me now on the latest developments. Kulu, thanks indeed for coming in.
Thank you so much.
There's been some concerns that the expertise on engineering, on procurement and construction actually leaves with Roman Crookes. Is that the case?
That is not necessarily the case. Remember, Roman is part of a team. He was a team leader, yes, it is true, but he was working with other people within the team. And what many people do not know is that between Kusile and Medupi, which are basically the same kind of, using the same technologies, there's been some kind of a cross-pollination of expertise and experience. Some of the people who are working at Medupi have been taken to Kusile, and others from Kusile to Medupi. So from our side, we are not worried at all. Roman, indeed, he has the experience, but we do have other people who are supporting him, and it's business as usual from our side.
I wonder about the handover process, though. I see that Roman leaves with immediate effect. When you consider a gigantic operation like Medupi, its challenges and its delays that it has had, I would think that a proper, lengthy handover would be necessary.
Well, interestingly, our CEO was doing an interview this morning, basically saying that this handover business is actually overrated. He, as the CEO of Eskom, he never got any handover, and he's managed to stabilize the company. And basically, from our side, Mr. Dukashe is not new. He has been working for Eskom for 22 years. He has actually managed to bring back to service 3 power stations that were decommissioned before, Camden, Grootfontein, and Komati. He brought them back to service. They're operating now. They're giving us about 2,000 megawatts. So he's not new per se, and he'll hit the ground running.
Why did Roman Crookes leave?
Well, people like Roman and are like neurosurgeons and maybe say doctors and people like that. They have very scarce skills. Like obviously he's an engineer. He's also a project manager. So he's probably been approached by one of the companies, and that's why he decided to leave.
All right. Kulu, I want to talk about some reports emerging in a Zimbabwe newspaper over the weekend saying that Eskom is supplying that country secretly with power. It's raised a few eyebrows. What exactly is Eskom assisting Zimbabwe with on the power front?
Let's start off by giving the context. South Africa and Eskom are part of the Southern African Power Pool. Within the Southern African Power Pool, which has been going on since 1995 for about 21 years now, whoever within the region, whoever has excess capacity sells to the neighbors. So we as a company, we were getting about 1,500 megawatts from Mozambique. We also get from time to time some maybe say 60 megawatts or whatever from places like Namibia and elsewhere. So we are helping each other within the region. So Zimbabwe did approach us saying that they need an extra 300 megawatts. Then we said to them, we will basically check first as to whether we do have that capacity. If we do, then we will sell to them. And after assessing everything, we said to them, we will give you that extra 300 megawatts, but we can only sell it to you during off-peak hours, South Africa's off-peak hours. So, for example, after 9 o'clock generally in South Africa, we don't have a lot of demand on the system, and then we have excess capacity. And when we are load shedding, which is also what we said to other companies or other countries within the region, when we are load shedding, none of them get anything from us, because to be honest with you, you can't sell something that you don't have. So if we don't have enough electricity for our own consumption in South Africa, we cannot sell to our neighbors, and that's the understanding.
I thought that was the case, though. I mean, it's been labeled as a crisis in many instances. Did we really have that amount of power to offer Zimbabwe?
Well, as we say, after 9 o'clock in the evening, South Africa has an excess capacity. Many people, especially firms, do not operate during that time. We have extra capacity, which we don't really need during that time. And then that's when we can sell to countries like Zimbabwe. And it has to be understood that Zimbabwe is also on prepaid, like many of our neighbors. So that there were some suggestions that Zimbabwe was owing Eskom a lot of money and things like that. It is not true. And this allegation that we signed a secret deal is also not true, because, to be honest with you, Eskom, just like your organization, the SABC, is sort of operating under the PMFA. So any monies, anything that you do has to be accounted for. So there's no way that we can sign a deal. The fact that we did not sign it at maybe Harare's National Stadium or at FNB does not make it a secret deal.
All right, so given that, what is our load shedding forecast like as we get into 2016?
Well, we've gone for 4 months now without load shedding, and the plan is to keep it that way. During the height of the holiday season, we took offline for plant maintenance about 9,500 megawatts. Currently, we're sitting at about 6,000 megawatts, which is still offline. We're doing maintenance on them. Next week, when everyone else come back from the holidays, we should be releasing all of those units, or at least many of them, so that we can continue to keep the lights on. From our side as a company, everything is going well at this stage. We have absolutely no comms at all.
All right, so mid-January, we get all the machines coming on at these major industrial companies. Could that be as let's just say, good and enough power as you expect it to be when those machines do come on?
Remember, before this holiday season, we were able to go for about 3 months at that time without load shedding. So basically, many of our units are now, even more units actually, are now back online. We are having more capacity than we had before the holiday season. So we shouldn't have any problems at all. But we have to emphasize, though, that we are not out of the woods in terms of load shedding. What we have said is, until at least we have the second unit of Medupi coming online and the 1 unit of Kusile coming online, will still be sort of very shaky. But fortunately, so far, we've been able to manage the system by making sure that we do maintenance, and we have reduced the breakdowns on our system. And that's why for 4 months now, we have not seen load shedding.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks indeed. Eskom spokesperson Kulupasiwe, thanks indeed for coming through.
Thank you.
All right, so that's a wrap from the News at 1 team. We're back with news on the top of the hour at 2 o'clock. See you then.